I'm already hungry for more, but we've got one last meal here that is dinner to end this stream, maybe dessert. And we've got the band phase coming up. We've got Emma, Mag floating. Shroud X going to be going on the side of Mag. Emma, though, from Nemesis.
Okay, not surprised here. The back and forth, while now on their side, they're going to be able to protect the Mag from Shroud X.
Yeah, you've got Dongman playing a great Mag, so I expect to see that more today. The Loki band right off the rip is a tip of the cap of respect over to what we've seen them play Loki on their side here, and they are firing. They know exactly what they want to do this map.
Okay, now going forward, it's the Emma Frost and the Magneto Sade from each side of these teams. Not too surprised there, as they were able to ban one or the other at the very first when they both picked simultaneously.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what we see. We see that early Vanguard lock-in and ban, and then it follows by typically a bunch of strategist bans to follow. However, things mixing up a bit. Nemesis is going to go and ban the Punisher. They don't want to see Vision and what he does best. Vision, fantastic Punisher. So they're probably planning on Mello being up in the skies, just like we saw yesterday.
We also saw Vision up to go for the Ultron, I believe, at one point, too, because they were the ones that were able to try to take out some Ultron strats.
Yep. And we've seen this little counterplay, as you just said, the Invisible Woman, so that you don't get the team up at the very least. You know, you're not going to ban Human Torch, but you can do that to slow them down. And they lock in Luna.
Okay, protection on the Luna here. Sing. Oh, okay. The Adam Warlock being the last one on the other side. So we got only Adam Warlock as the band's protecting the Luna Snow on the other side here, looking at Shroud X, and then Team Nemesis now being able to have that protection with the Emma Frost and the Cloak and Dagger.
Yeah, it was looking like Nemesis is going to want to play a little triple res potentially. Maybe not with the Mantis. Actually, yes, the Mantis. Ricky will play that and then swap after he gives the armor out. But we are going to get the triple res comp right off the rip. Love to see that. And in Domination, it's so crazy, Vicky. We saw it earlier. There's so many heroes that you have to eliminate. They just keep coming back and back, and it all happens on Hell's Heaven.
That res comp was absolutely crazy here. Hell's Heaven, seeing how this is going to play out for our very first map, as we do start every series on Domination before we transition onto game number 2. Let's get it started here. Team Nemesis versus Shroud X. We've highlighted a lot of the ex-Shikigami roster that is Team Nemesis, and what we saw between Mello, even Scatter too, and the way that they were able to perform now versus Shroud X, where, let's not forget, Team Nemesis, Ricky in an interview yesterday specifically said they wanted Techie to win because they just specifically wanted Shroud X to stay on their 0-4 losing streak as some sort of headline. Now, this could possibly bite them back.
Little beef on this team. Love to see it. And this is what we saw in the MRI. Vision on Hela. Doom playing Wolverine. Love this combination here. And this is what you'll need to do. Now, the Wolverine, you're not going to have any, you're going to have Emma to deal with. But this might be a great team here against the triple res Vision can lock in.
Here now, some of the poke pressure still, just trying to control a good amount of this space. Looking at Team Nemesis with that Emma. Furley's coming in with that Star-Lord as well. The rest competition here now for Team Nemesis, as the Emma's the first one to go down. Isn't the way you want to start things off looking at Team Nemesis.
Yeah, you've got a lot of heroes that can res, but Emma's not one of them. And Shroud X says, bring it on, triple res. We're going to eliminate you double time. And right now, you're having the flee happen from Nemesis. They're going to have to regroup and get together. Strong start from Shroud X.
That was all because Scatter was the first to fall, being on that Emma Frost now, as they regroup here, trying to control over to the flanking side. Vision just being that problem on the Hela.
So Vision, when he locks in, he can absolutely go off on that hit scan. Doomed, they make the joke when he gets his sleep. That's when you see the most out of him. Both of them are lethal weapons at what they do. A little bit of poke damage from a maiden there from the side. You'd love to see it, and we're going to see if we can get one of these overextending Vanguards, but the Legendary comes out from Peter Quill. It's Vibes and Violence, but they're staying alive in the cloak bubble. Scatter getting the pick, and Ricky to follow. They're going to get that point and swoop it from Shroud X.
That was a beautiful timing right there, too, because Shroud X just had no defensive strategy ult to even counter that from a maiden. So now being able to win that team fight, being able to recapture that point is important, with Shroud X having plethora of ultimates coming right back.
Yo, dude, isn't it always so scary whenever you hear like a legendary and you're 97% of strategists? You're like, come on, get the ult. And unfortunately, Fidel and Doc were unable to do so, but they're fully loaded for this fight.
It's always scary, especially when you're so close. You know you have to heal just a little bit. You can't be invincible, but you move in and you still have to deal with Vision, who now also has the Goddess of Death ready to go.
And here's where the passive comes in handy. Maiden coming back from the dead, but there we go. We've got Impunity throwing out the Groot. They do get the elimination on Mello. Great pick there, and they're able to push forward here. Let's see if they're able to get the momentum enough. And we've got Vision up in the skies. Goddess of Death raining down her crows on the bottom. And just like that, Doom taking down Scatter, followed by Craze. And there it is. Just like that, right back.
Wait. The res here from Mello immediately into the Mantis ult to keep everyone alive. The 5-man coming right back. The Meteor not finding its mark, but Vision at the very least does find the Star-Lord.
Holy 5-stack res. Are you kidding me, Mello? He got wiped early, which allowed him to sneak in and get that res off, and you have to eliminate them twice. That's hard to do for any team, unfortunately. Nemesis now with all the momentum able to press, but you do have the point picking up slowly for Shroud X. Using those crew walls, Scatter is pushing and is able to get the elimination.
Oh man, but the Star-Lord also finding 3, finding 4, one by one as the heads line up with a little bit of popping off to do here. You gotta show him what you gotta here, because Star-Lord is coming to play. Team Nemesis with another wipe.
Chris Pratt just fell to his knees somewhere in a local grocery store. He was like, oh my God, what was that? Beautiful, Maiden. Are you kidding me? With the 4-piece, and he knows it too. He's got that little wiggle of the camera to say, yeah, what's up? We're here to play.
Dude, that was insane, actually. Amazing, you know, very hand in hand right now as getting into position here from the high ground.
Absolutely here, and he's looking to do the same here. Build it up. They have plenty of setup here. Clobbering time can go right into a wombo combo if they get it down, but Doom is looking to make that. Wow, what a trade-off!
What? He does it again. Constantly is the problem. Even with the Fate of Both Worlds activated just to keep Shroud X alive for this fight. Fidel also gonna just be able to move up with the rest of his team. Now you have the Cloak and Dagger Eternal Bond just to be answered from the Team Nemesis side, and at 99% overtime ticking away, and a Maiden gets the res on himself utilizing this res comp.
Looks like a kindergarten portrait on the face. You got blue, red. You've got both eternal bonds. Both teams fighting it out. Will it be Nemesis that are at 99%? But Vision able to get the pick up. And there's the claw and unable to get the connection. Looking for it. And Vision single-handedly having a vision of crows thrown upon the team to make it even more competitive.
That Goddess of Death just to help clear out that point of what was left of Team Nemesis. Now we have a close game on our hands here, Cozy.
We've been so hyped for this. We're just like waiting, eager for this close game to play. And this is it. These two teams both won it, advancing, guys. $3 million in total. They've got a lot to play for here outside of just their reputations, as we have our last push from Nemesis.
Staying alive in this winners bracket now as Maiden now moves up on that Star-Lord. Does have that Star-Lord ult ready to go. But looking at Team Nemesis here as they approach with this res cup. Shroud X don't have an answer against that Star-Lord ult. That is the problem. That's why you always need an answer here. Now you're stuck in overtime. They nicely kite away. Perfect positioning for Shroud X to try to re-engage. But with Vision landing their shots, they lose out on 2. Here comes a big res now from the Adam Warlock utilizing that ult.
And unfortunately, Doom's still alive, right? The Strange get people back. You're gonna have to just do what you can with what you have. Impunity goes showing the Strange to get it done. Getting the cap in the back here. Will they be able to push them out in zone? Well, there's only a little sliver left. Shroud X, even with the legendary, making it possible. Doom with the pop-off. I think they're gonna get it, and they do. Oh my gosh.
No way. There is no way. What a first round to kick things off for our series, our last series of the day. Are you kidding me?
Oh my God, I had a cold glass of water, guys. Sorry, I was standing up. That's what we want to see here. And the back cap during the aggression of that push, Amadian playing as well as you can there with 14,000 damage to the name. But look at the heals of Shroud X under Nuck and Fidel. Fantastic play all around. The 12 elims of Vision doing what he does best as that aim god. Everybody playing lights out.
Impunity 2 with the 13.4k damage, and that's even through the Emma Frost trying to break way not only around the group walls, but also just trying to prevent Impunity from dealing the massive amount of damage with those walls, especially when everyone is stuck in a room out of that res comp.
That's a great point. Impunity and Doomed switching over to Vanguard, they were able to stay alive for so long on that last push, even through res comps. I mean, you have to eliminate a team twice, sometimes 3 times, and they legit just pulled that off as they head into the point. I hate this little window over here, by the way, Vicky. I don't know if you are the pro that likes to destroy that, but I head straight for the point.
I just head straight to the point. I do not destroy that. I don't even not even like to mess with anybody on that side. I just let that be dealt with my divers instead. Now that we're already set up on the point, I like this counter rotate from Team Nemesis, first trying to approach from the high ground.
I like this wall step in advance, not allowing the strategists to back up. That's what we see at the top tier. There is the entangling prison, and he gets the pick on Scatter again to open up the match, just like last time. History repeating itself as it often does, and they're able to get the crucial pick. But we do have Nemesis and the Eternal Bond coming out early.
The big Eternal Bond here, too. When you have that, you have the answer right back with the fate of both worlds from Fidel and Shroud X. Now looking around Doom, just trying to make sure that they do not get the res that they want. Making sure that that's the message sent right back to Ricky to see you back in the spawn room doors, because now Shroud X, they walk in and they take that point first.
By Thorn, by Branch, it's Impunity on Groot, it's Vision with the Thorns on Hella. They've got it all. And I'm telling you, Impunity saw that head-to-head graphic with Vinny and British Treat. He's like, hey, can I get on there? Can I show you what I can do on Groot? Great job there and a good cap first for Shroud X.
Doom does have that Doctor Strange Agamotto ready to go. Vision with the Goddess of Death. Wobble combo here as Team Nemesis still have an answer. You have to look out for that Adam Warlock who has that res available, as well as a Star-Lord that may open things up here, looking at the way that Shroud X deal with this.
Yeah, and I like that they do have the thing able to get some combos up with the, oh, wow, okay, there it is. Impunity, Doomed, able to get the 1-2. Nemadian came coming back with that passive, but Vision, you can come back as many times as you want, but you're going to fall to the Crows.
That's the counter right here, too. They needed to make sure they deal enough damage output in a splash AoE just to prevent this rest from having any sort of success if you look at Team Nemesis. Shroud X says, keep talking out here as Vision gets even more picks. That is with the Star-Lord that constantly has been getting shut down after these counter picks, as the Eye of Agamotto comes down from the heavens. The follow-ups on top of it all, as Shroud X puts some diction into why they are here on this point, putting themselves nearly at 70%.
All of Kamartaj just celebrated with that one. I mean, they're lacking damage. Nemesis just doesn't have enough. Amadian doing great, but there's just not enough, you know, to go against with the clobbering time, the combo setups. And on top of that, Shroud X playing lights out right now. I'm telling you, Vision on his game, and a huge Agamotto there from Doom.
To work with here, if this res comp isn't working out for them, they gotta make some changes here, but the covering time is going to be coming out to approach. You're nearing 90% as your Shroud X, and Fidel's also got the fate of both worlds.
Yeah, absolutely tremendous play. They have everything they need though. Nemesis, they have the internal bond. They also have clobbering time. Clobbering time though, unfortunately not getting it connected. Fidel getting that just in time. The fate of both worlds, keeping that team up nice and healthy, and they're able to continue this push and keep the aggro on. Dogman about to go down, but up with the cloak bubble. No one's falling just yet. Who's gonna be the first domino to tip?
Has to stay alive because Dogman has the meteor ready to go, and that's going to be the counter towards the Star-Lord, while you also have to consider the psionic seduction now coming in from Scatter, looking on both angles, taking a lot of damage, being able to go right back over to Diamond Form, and the Adam Warlock res now comes in, but can they stop it? Thing was so low here, and Dogman just walks up and gets that 3K.
They've got the Vision all ready to go too. They might as well pop them all here to end it. This is a full defense build. If you're on an RPG for Nemesis, they just don't have the offensive output to deal with all threats. Coming though is to go down to Madian. Great job there on the back kick. He's trying to get a little health as they continue to push this overtime clock. Doom though with the Agamotto. We saw a big one before. Can he make it too? He's about to rise up. No, doesn't need it. Just going with the pop as they're going through the fate of both worlds and putting the pressure on Vicky.
Even with that here too, Team Nemesis just do not find these picks as you talk about Shroud X. On the other hand here, off the Agamotto, get 2, make it 3 with nothing being able to find Ricky. Yes, you get the respawns here. The res is coming in from Ricky, but you have to make sure you have an ult to at least try to help the rest of your team. And Team Nemesis right now, with Ricky going down, will not be able to have the soul resurgence.
I mean, even with Internal Bond, Doom is just, he doesn't need it. He's going to stay alive through it all. We got the portal coming in. Nemesis trying to make their way in. Grace getting that portal off. This is going to be a long fight with triple res. We'll see if the passes come back. They just use it back to back. We've got the legendary popping off vibes. He's got the cassette tape in. Can he get the finish? Can he jam? Mello getting Doom down. Huge pick here, Vicky, as they're trying to make it a 6v5. No comebacks here. And Vision now on the Wolf.
Desperate times call for some desperate measures here. You're trying to fight for your life as Dogman, even with the Venom ult, cannot stay alive. It is Mellow finding his head from the Adam Warlock. Team Nemesis finally flipped the script here as a Doctor Strange portal from Doom just to get something going here for Shroud X's Vision will have his ult.
Oh, that fight was nuts, man. It had it all. Every super. I mean, that was something else. And we've got a little bit of scouting going here from Doom, trying to get that top high ground here as they're going to jump in together. Vision making that swap over to Wolf, see if they can handle really the only threats there on the field of the Vanguards. He's going to go and take this back path here as you've got Chris trying to get a little bit of poke damage up top. We'll see who jumps down first. And Ricky kidnapped by Vision, and he's scooped, and that's it.
Yeah, that's a huge first pick, though. That's a huge kidnap here. Desperate times here when you don't have an Invisible Man, Luna Snow, or Loki, because they've been banned for you to use, so you're stuck here with this res comp, and now Mello being able to bring a main right back here, too, as well as the Wolverine. Another kidnap, isolating the Cloak and Dagger. Someone save them here, but the rest of the team is getting harassed from Team Nemesis.
Oh my gosh, you have the triple deaths there, but you do have the legendary for now going down, and he gets both strategists. No more heals on the floor there for Shroud X. He gets one, he gets two, he gets the contention. Graceman up top there for Strange, trying to get more, and Mello and Chris Pratt himself, the Star-Lord, getting it done. 84%, going up to 99. This could be a huge flip, Vicky.
Literally a 0 to 100 situation. That is what we're currently seeing right now. With the way that now not only do they have control over this point, but Doom does have that other mode you have to look at for the psionic seduction here from the other side of Team Nemesis.
Absolutely played to perfection here as they're going to put the aggression on. We've got Ricky with the ult ready for Mantis. We're going to see if Dongman can respond with that. Yagamoto's ready as well. Doom can pull it off at any time, but Scatter looking to get the first lap. Doom to go down early without the well, this could be huge. Quick connection. Dogman making it more of an even fight if he can. But Scatter getting the job done. Nemesis Vicky is looking to get the job done for a complete 99% swap.
What a sweep from Team Nemesis. Not only with a huge swap making this res comp work, they take it. And not only that too, in a tie series right now for our very first map. What a way. I mean, on the other side, the strategist ults were just not available for Shroud X.
I mean, Shroud X had that completely. And then, hey, when your back's against the wall like Nemesis, you have all the support you need to come out swinging. And they did just that. Absolute phenomenal play. And a median, 34,000 damage, 12 final hits. Truly the core source of damage on that team, going crazy. All of Shroud X is playing well, but my goodness, I'm impressed.
You need that, though, especially if you're the only duelist right now for your team to get these picks. Yes, these fights are elongated, and that's because you're just trying to find an opportunity to finally get that initial pick onto one of the strategists. But even then, it was the battle of ultimates that really dictated that last fight. Shroud X not having a strategist ult just to reset through the onslaught of ultimates that Team Nemesis had on the other side is what made that really difficult.
You know these team comms right now, Vicky, are like Eminem on stage just hitting his best beats. It's just like the fastest talk ever. I mean, all the chaos. How are you even supposed to go through that? That's what makes it great. The Nemesis taking it right to them. Look at that group. Instant vault. Wow. Deletion to impunity. What a way to start.
Dude, you talk about Eminem. I mean, they're literally coming in like Slim Shady for real. Everyone's taking some shots right now with the way that they're coming in. Doom then answers right back, finds out to Scatter, but then you also have the fate of both worlds just to keep Shroud X here in this fight. Even through that Doctor Strange portal, here we have Doom now trying to isolate the player with the Wolverine ult too, and the Legendary now coming in from the Star-Lord.
Yeah, Doom with a huge kidnap off the map, as many Wolves love to do on this map. Vision gonna clean up the scraps here with the mid-air pick. You love to see it. Impunity, though, really getting the job there on Doctor Strange. Doomed and him flipping mid-match. So cool to see the flexibility of this team. Great job all around the cap in the first cap. Even though the first fight went to Nemesis, Shroud is gonna get the last lap, and they're up to 10%.
I mean, that progress already first. Although we've seen it already happen before, that 0 to 100 flip as now Team Nemesis take onto the high ground on their approach.
Absolutely, as Doom is going to be stalking his prey, as Wolverine does, as Logan likes to do. The X-Men looking for the elimination. Amadian, though, trying to get a flip in to get the pressure on Impunity, pushing him off the high ground, but keeping that pressure on the floor, through the middle, getting the Baroque. Damage not an issue at the moment, as Doom's slicing and dicing through the interior bond. Rage all the way up. That's when Wolverine's the most lethal, but Nuck getting the job done for Team Shroud.
Oh, and even with the Adam Warlock Warlock res here too. It's really up to Ricky to pop the Mantis Soul Resurgence, and even through that, you're not gonna even out heal. Ricky gets taken down from Dogman, and then currently you have Crack being able to push in with the thing and the clobbering time. Shroud X, they thought they had the answer, but then the flip immediately right afterwards as the stall still continues to help exert their progress on 62+%.
These teams are throwing it all out there. The 5-piece Agamotto's some impunity. The swap, Nemesis able to flip the script again. It's both. You have to max it out perfectly. And again, with triple res, you have to do it twice. So even though Shroud X sometimes looks like they're really getting the last laugh, they come right back and they're able to come together as a team and make this happen.
What a reset too. The quick reset from Shroud X, just realizing if they cannot recontest, then it's time for... Oh, wow. That a big first pick onto Doom. That is Mellow making a statement, by the way, on that Adam Warlock.
Yeah, that was a huge pick there. Doomed, unfortunately, without the passive, too, to keep him alive. Mello doing a great job here on Adam to show that pressure early. We do have the legendary Amadian has been making those go off like crazy. He's about to put the cassette tape in, about to go off, blast the 80s. Let's see what he can pull off here.
Look at that damage output from Mello. No kidnap, but still trying to find isolation here. Well, the Star-Lord activates the ult, looking on the other side. The thing also almost ready here, having to be careful as the Eternal Bond just allows and paints a path for the rest of Shroud X to move up to negate the damage from the Star-Lord originally. Currently, the thing still having now that clobbering time ready to go, but Nook keeps finding these ultimate picks.
Yeah, and look at that. Unfortunately, the passive not ready for Mello. 97% on the res. That would have been so clutch if they could pull it off, but unfortunately, he had to go for the full respawn there. But you know what? Great job. Great patience from Shroud X's team here. Able to pull everything together. Right now, 65%, 75. Guys, this is the game you came here for. Can Shroud X get it done? Nemesis, are they going to hold it? Are they going to push? Let's go.
Edge of my seat right now. Look how close this is. Approaching that 90 percentile point. Nemesis have a plethora of ultimates here too.
Median looking for this backside flank, seeing if he can get early poke damage on the strategist. We have Doomed up there, going to contest this Wolverine. He's going to try to go for the kidnap, maybe off the map. That would be huge to pull in. He's going to go for scatter. Let's see if we can get it. No diamond form. The flip of the script into the pillar has to trigger the Luna ultimate at this point to keep the momentum.
And that's off the clobbering time here too. Scatter coming in and not only the down form, but kicking Impunity right back to the spawn. Here comes the Mantis ult too with the Soul Resurgence, and that's to match that with the dance of fate of both worlds here. Shroud X, they are falling as Team Nemesis retake this point, and that's without using everything in the arsenal too.
It's like Scatter baited that out from Doom. That was insane. He got the kidnap, but no, Diamond Forward kick back up. And on top of that, that made Fidel have to use his ultimate to try to keep things going. Really well done in execution. And you're right, they've got the full res. Mello, he's a play aggressive, but also stay alive. You have essentially, what, 3 lives here if you're able to pull it off.
That's literally the win condition right now. They cannot isolate the Adam Warlock. Yes, you get these 2 nugs here, but at the same time, you have the res, the Adam Warlock res, as you initiate, bringing both the Mantis and the Star-Lord back, seconds away from them having to retake. Overtime now activated.
And here it is, legendary. The last thing you want to hear, but luckily there is a response. Nuck does have that internal bond, keeping everybody alive. Stay on the red path. Follow the yellow brick rotor. In this case, the red, as we have Scatter putting out the ultimate for Emma, tracking everybody in. Can they get the combo? Impunity, though, flipping it on instead and taking down the support. That's a clutch elimination, Vicky.
It is Shroud X who are walking by the Magneto ult to retake this point. Overtime ticking away, and now it's up to this portal play, and the Adam Warlock, who's still alive somehow here. Ricky as well with the respawn with this res competition. Goddess of Death now activated from Vision just to force them away, but one by one they keep coming back. It's time to set them right back.
Nice little peekaboo with that Adam Warlock and Vision. Having the instincts, the portal, the patience there from Shroud X and Vision especially. You've got that portal coming on the point, but no, looking for the Adam first, getting that elimination. And listen, Nemesis just won that last map, coming back with a portal. Not this time. Shroud X says, this is the map in the match we were waiting for, Vicky.
Remember what they said. They're not going to forget it. Ricky's saying, you know what? Like, expecting them to lose out already just to keep up their losing streak. Well, time to put a hold onto that, because now they're up an entire map versus Team Nemesis.
Yo, just 2 bowls going right against each other. I mean, 63, 80,000 80,000 from Fidel. My gosh, the healing is insane. The damage even crazier. Look at Impunity with 40,000 damage on Groot, 68 eliminations. This might be one of the craziest stat games we've seen in the tournament.
80,000 is in 72 assists too for Nook. Wow, talk about the strategist just backline just helping out the rest of this team. It is actually insane. And then the damage blocked as well from Impunity being on that Groot.
I mean, just pure nuts. 80,000 damage. That's more healing than I've done in the month of May. I mean, just absolute craziness there from strategist play. And honestly, really, no one's even knack against there on what we just saw. Everybody played really well. The strategy and the camera shake from Amadian. I do have to point out, though, those ultimates made the difference. Shroud X, finally on that last map, Vicky, had these strategist ultimates line up with that legendary, and that was the big difference.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And it's something else that Shroud X was doing, not only with the Meteor, too, but just making sure that they were ready with Vision as well, cleaning up whatever was left of Team Nemesis. And we saw that happen, what, like 3 fights in total, where they were incredibly low. They don't have any way to reset here too. They staggered in their ults and then just were able to keep staggering Team Nemesis at one point.
Yeah, absolutely. And just flexing during the map. One person playing Doctor Strange, then the other. Doomed, by the way, tip of the cap to him. He is what I've watched, a duelist, but to flex to insane Strange play was awesome to see. But yeah, triple res, no problem. No problem for Shroud X, and what a way. But now Nemesis, they're going to be able to pick the map and try to get this thing on the right ship here.
And that's looking at Team Nemesis kind of forced to play this res comp, right? Because they had the Invisible Woman, Luna Snow, and Loki banned against them. That's why they couldn't make any more of those swaps here, really working with what they had. But it was Shroud X that also made that retaliation, the change-ups between Vision getting those crucial picks there too, and Fidel also having that Fate of Both Worlds ready when they needed it.
Dude, that is why I know the difference between an average Joe player. Hey, what's up? My name's Cozy. To Vision, the awareness, knowing over there the Adam Warlock, you have everything happening in front of you, and just taking down the biggest or the most important threat and establishing that. What a beautiful poetry, though. Shroud X, they're known for not being able to clutch it up, right? Not able to get that win that they need. And, you know, there's a little shakiness, but they got the job done, and they got one map there on Nemesis.
And now one more map to go to proceed on through that winner side of the bracket, where all the naysayers now looking at Shroud X wondering, all right, they've been able to do their homework. They've been able to really test things out here to change up what they need to going into the Ignite tournament.
Absolutely, guys. I mean, obviously, you're not going anywhere because that was an insane match. We have another one coming right your way in just a second. We'll be right back. Are you not entertained, people? My gosh, if it wasn't the elite Vanguard play, Vicky, of Impunity and Dogman, it was the next thing with insane ult charge of Mello getting those reses, the DPS of Vision. What is there not to break down about that last match as we head into the next one?
The 80k from the Luna Snow. What the way that we saw not only like the ultimates coming out of Mello, also by the way staying alive for as long as Mello could, and then looking at the way that Fidel had to match that on the Luna Snow was absolutely insane. Also, Vision just going crazy, like on the Hela was like 68 elims, like 31 final hits is crazy. And that was, don't forget, to counter the Star-Lord from Amadian, that he was the SVP from the opposing team and was able to get a lot done with the forced res comp from that team.
Yeah, and having just them lining up those ults a bit better this time around, I thought both Vanguards just some of the best Strange that we've seen this tournament, just with the execution of getting off, whether it be Agamotto's or clutch blocks. And I got to say, the flexibility of Doom, going from one thing to the other, just whatever that team needed at that specific point. At one point, it was just a portal to the team in, then he stays it, and then the rest we just saw unfold. I mean, I think that's by far the closest match we've seen thus far in Ignite here on, especially day 3, but in the tournament so far.
I definitely agree. That was also one of my favorite matches I've seen, because you and I both together haven't really been able to cover something that's been this close. And I like how you highlighted Doomed, because that's what I love the most about Marvel Rivals. The fact that you could have any of your players, no matter what they started the game with, now flex over to a different role to go towards something that your team needs, even at the last second, is so important. Even if that sets back your ult just a little bit, depending on how you build your ult as quick as it is, depending on who you even go to, that is what matters here, and that's the adjustment that we got to see from the other side.
Absolutely here. Both teams allowing the same exact top vanguards to make their way through. The question is, are we going to see Shroud X allow the triple res, or are they going to go ahead and say, hey, you know what? We dealt with it once. We'll do it again. Guys, this is the first time I'll be casting Clintar, at least in Ignite, and it's exciting to see this map. Always a fun time, kind of crazy cat and mouse game of offense defense here as we head into our second ban for Team Nemesis.
I was going to say, the Emma Frost would have gone crazy here, but the immediate ban from the other side, still able to save. Maybe we'll see another ban here as we see the protection now as the Loki goes away. And we saw the Magneto being protected. And yeah, that is the Emma Frost I was expecting here on this map.
Yeah, I know Fidel, 80k healing, insane. Nuck plays an insane Loki too. Saw a lot of that in the MRI. So they're getting rid of any potential of that. Both Lokis off the board immediately. And Dongmin is playing such a good Magneto at this point that they just want to keep him. Make sure, you know, have the Emma. We're going to keep our mag and go from there. Luna off the board this time.
I'm not surprised. They saw that 80k healing. She gotta go. She gotta go. That was a problem. And that's also with the double strategist ban too. That's onto the Loki and to the Luna. Now, will we see a third one is the question.
Yeah, and with this new ban system, the good news is they're able to keep bans even though they can play the hero even though they ban against them. So you've got this strategist comp being ban. Again, we saw Mello play a lot of Torch the day before, so they're shutting down that potential Fantastic Four team up that we've seen. Luna with the save, clutch there as they're able to keep it for themselves.
Okay, but they did see that the Invisible Woman was banned over to the other side. So no, it's a very similar banning lineup that we saw actually going into our very first map, which kind of forced out that res comp in the first place.
Yep, absolutely. Here, Punisher not going to be available, unfortunately, for Team Shroud X. They play Vision definitely loves the Punisher there, but he did okay on Hela, I would say, if you watch the last game. Now Doom floating potentially. Oh yes, Human Torch, but goes to what I know him from well, and that is Bucky Barnes and the Kraken Impact Again show.
You get to hear again and again through your dreams, or maybe even your nightmares, as we get started going on to our second map in the series. This is gonna be great here. I'm excited. Clintar is gonna be our next destination. This brings back memories too, because actually, this is the very first map that I got to play on when I first experienced Marvel Rivals.
It's a good one. This is definitely like a love-hate map. Some people just can't stand it. Others enjoy it a good amount. And it's typically, compared to some of these other maps, this first point can go pretty quickly. It just depends on the approach that they're going to go with here. Now, looking at our teams locked and loaded. Mello back on Adam Warlock. Played him very well. We're going to get that res comp yet again here from Team Nemesis. And on the other side, looking like we're doing a little bit of swap-ups, but Vision staying on that Hela. Doom now over to Bucky.
I can protect, but add time to the mix and
Here,
Taking his back wall early.
Yeah, and also being able to hold this position right here with the Groot is always goes really nice here against Impunity, who we already saw put in so much of that damage output himself.
Yeah, absolutely. Here, taking down the main street, going up there with Impunity, just rocking on up with the Groot here, seeing if they can go ahead and lock behind and push the pressure forward here. Love this strategy. They're going to take over this little room and see what they can do from there. They got the lockdown there on Grace, unable to get out of there, and Grace is trying and begging and pleading, but he is eliminated. Fidel with the insane Luna damage. Dinks, though, trading with Cloak to keep things even.
Saving Fidel to continuously be that problem right now with that freeze and beautiful follow-up that we got to see from Impunity setting up those Groot walls.
Absolutely, Fidel has just been going off heals, damage, limbs, you name it. Luna can do it, as we know. Dogman trying to get the early poke pressure there in the back line. Great use of shield, trying to get rid of that Emma. Emma cannot charge on Max shield. No Scatter trying to get that early pick, getting the pressure on Magneto early. Nobody's falling, but Vision with the last lap on Amadian. Huge pick to open them up, and to follow, we've got Nuck hitting with that Eternal Bond.
And not having to use too much here too. Even with that res that we see from the res composition from Team Nemesis, you see currently the Eternal Bonds, and then you have the Fate of both worlds ready to unleash. Groot wall after Groot wall after Groot ult, double ult coming in from both sides, while Doom to get it again, tries to find a single shot here as Kraz now moves up, takes out Nook, takes out Dogman, and Shroud X. It's back to the drawing board for them because it did not work out in their favor to cycle through those ults. The res comp is just too strong.
Yo, somebody press the everybody press Q button, because I just saw every ult in the game from Luna to Mantis to the Groot. We had it all right there, and then top it off with a little Doomed Armed and Dangerous. Great hold there from Nemesis, though. I'm actually impressed with what they were able to do. Unfortunately, unable to connect their impunity with his ultimate. They definitely want that one back.
But they were able to keep that Luna Snow staying with the meteor. Try to see if we can catch Median. Does not here. Instead, shuts it down immediately. Diamond being that counter. And then the Psionic Seduction on top of it all from Scatter. Up from the high ground, wrapping around. Nice follow from Mello, dealing so much damage. Mello being able to boot up, by the way. That ultimate charge so quick in the last game. Still continues on with Team Nemesis successfully defending again.
Okay, Mello, I see you, buddy. It's like, all right, get rid of my torch. I'll go ahead and smoke with Adam. Great job there. Doom now trying to get that early poke damage. 93% charging up. You like to combo that typically with the Groot. That's at 80% now. They're going to look to do a little bit of poking and prodding as they make their way up Main Street. Vision does have the crows ready to throw down. They're going to go from a back approach. There's Graceman with the ult that can get the team wipe. This would be massive.
But Doom with the slow turnaround right when he gets caught in the Groot ult tube, and Vision even after getting that 1 KO onto Deeps, you have to consider the fact that Mello had that res ready to go. The Soul Resurgence here as well from Mantis ready to unleash, just trying to cycle through the next set of a Groot ult, but you have to consider Doom before coming in with that Bucky ult.
Yeah, great vision ult there, trying to get the kind of peeking through the cracks and getting the picks they need, but that res, that's the big difference. But Vision doesn't care. He continues the eliminations. Doom is playing the playlist. Looking from Star-Lord, put the tape in up again, but there it is yet again are the reses. But look at Doom just feeding and feeding, but they're gonna push one more time. They did this before. Let's do it again. Jumping in the portal to make things happen.
Oh no, not again, not again. Even though pushing them right back towards the portal, here comes a meteor. Yeah, you could try to go in for a res, but we saw Team Nemesis Ricky at the very end there just eat the Bucky ult in the face right after using the Soul Resurgence, so they won't have that ult going in too.
Dude, these two teams together, guys, like, this is peak rivals, man. Absolutely insane. They do get the cap. Doomed must have gotten 19 resets. I'm not counting, but it's somewhere along those lines. And just great job from Shroud X to make it push into the second point. Once you get that point, you're able to really start getting some ground.
I hear the again and again in my own nightmares here. Mello putting in a good amount of poke pressure, already at nearly 60% on that ult charge. The Groot here too. Kraz just trying to put himself up on the high ground here. Scatter's gonna be able to boost up more damage output too with that Emma Frost beam.
Yeah, impunity building up closely. Nothing to follow, but we have both Vanguard ults coming online for Shroud X pretty soon. Grace can get the ult at any time, but nothing to follow that up as well. But they can just go with pure raw damage output. Mello building up that rest one more time so they can play a bit more aggressive. Doom, oh, and there's the ult with the walls and the damage and the pressure. Can't escape these thorn last walls as they continue to press W and push them forward.
Great timing there from Nook to be able to have the Eternal Bomb just to save everybody right through the strangling prison from the opposition from Team Nemesis. As two go down, Shroud X win another team fight. It is Dongmin with the 3K. Nook to finish things off too as the nail in the coffin.
Vision just casually getting like a 4 or 5 piece Agamotto there. Insane job there, Dr. Strange. That's what I'm talking about. They swap into heroes and then they play them at top level. We've seen now Dr. Strange played by like all 6 of them at this point. That's what you love to see.
Now going into this next fight, they have the fate of both worlds ready, but Team Nemesis, after losing out on Starlet, Amadian is going to be able to res, come right back, and they have a plethora of ultimates here as Ricky is the first to unleash a Soul Resurgence.
Absolute chaos unfolding here on the battlefield. Everybody resting their biggest abilities as Dogman's going up with the up, down, with everything. He slams it and unable to connect. Shatter pushing him away with the Emma ult as Graceman now trades, and that was a good, strong last-second hold from Nemesis.
Now that Meteor not finding it smart gets the win condition they need to lead into to counter a lot of what Team Nemesis is throwing at them now. Star-Lord ult activated, unleash the button here as Mello reses himself as well. Shroud X with Nook having another Eternal Bond back to back here just to create a path for Shroud X to contest here on the point.
Mello always seems to have that ultimate ready, and it looks like, oh, we do have the touch, the push. Will they be able to get this in? They did it last on overtime. They have a rest behind them and plenty in the tank. Nemesis, though, taking one down, then the other, and resting up while they're at it.
And Ricky's still finding more picks after rezzing themselves. Overtime ticking away, and Shroud are nowhere in sight. It's Vision here on the Doctor Strange that has to make that magic happen, but there is absolutely no time, not even with the Agamotto, to come back from the spawn room door.
Yeah, and that map's tough. You got to get all the way out of spawn. You know, some maps you have to get way more further to get that TP off. That's one of them. And unfortunately, even with it off the cooldown, it did not line up with the time that Doctor Strange got eliminated there to get it off. Not the worst push, but and certainly better than not getting the first point, what was about to happen. Remember, Nemesis, they picked this map. They feel confident here, and they showed it.
Man, looking even down to the hero bands, being able to save that Luna Snow after getting 80k healing output in the first game here. Oh, and we're gonna perhaps maybe get some. Are they trying to mirror them?
Ooh, I like this. I like this approach here because, again, especially on defense, it just gives you that extra bit of life. And I've seen Vision play Adam Warlock. Guy can go crazy. They did not have that option last time. It was banned. Vicky, the last ban was Adam Warlock. So this time they left the Adam, allowing Vision to swap over. Triple res comp coming right at you. You have Nuck, the MVP right now, switching to Mantis. And Doom, I have seen play Star-Lord. He plays it at a phenomenal level.
That's a very good point. Actually, touching up on that first map ban, it was the Emma Frost, Loki, Punisher, and Adam Warlock where they ended up saving the Magneto and Luna Snow. Now being able to work that into their own favor, it's something to catch them off guard, right? This is the opportunity now to get ahead and whittle away more of that time bank away from them.
It's such a great comp to have in every team's belt. Like, if you know how to play triple res, you might as well learn it, because if you do have it available, it's just so strong on certain maps. And we're seeing that right here as they're taking the portal and the fight right to them. They like to use these as kind of pseudo walls to poke behind, and they're doing just that as they're going to be able to go up on the high ground. Portals protecting the low ground. They're going to see if they can get something rolling right away here as Medians get that poke damage going.
The only difference in this mirror match is that there is no Emma Frost in favor for Shroud X. They have the Magneto instead to counter the Star-Lord. That's going to be their priority. And here we go with the very first res already after getting that first KO here. Dogman taking a good amount of pressure. Same thing going in for Impunity, and Doomed having to try to back away, literally 3 HP to his name.
Graceman doing exactly what we saw last map. Like, he gets one, then he gets them all. 1, 2, 3. Mello making it 4, 5. And even with the rest, which all three coming back at the same time, they're just one interim capping. Nemesis making it look way easier than Shroud X there on the cap. Mello going crazy on Adam Warlock. Fantastic first cap for Nemesis.
Dude, this match is insane. Insane. And look at the stagger. Huge stagger onto Fidel. They keep him alive just enough, just so that way they have more space, knowing that they're coming in, well, a full team.
Absolutely. I love that. I love when they stagger one person late. It's like just pure comedy to watch. Look at the team up all together. The secrecy, the synergy there, one would say, from Nemesis as they're trying to go across the bridge. They've got the fight coming to them. It's triple res, triple res. We'll see what happens here as the battle's about to commence. Fidel has that internal bond, though, as well as Dinks to keep the fight long.
The animation cancel coming in from Kraz on that Doctor Strange. They have high ground now. Fidel does have that eternal bond, and here comes a legendary now too from the skies. Team Nemesis putting in pressure around the corner. But again, Fidel does have that insurance policy, and that's what's going to be utilized now just to allow Shroud X to push all the way up.
A great job to use the cloak bubble there, the dagger bubble, to keep everybody alive rather than trying to waste it all. But Fidel did end up using that digital bond. Instead, you now have the inverse. Is Doom going to be able to get the fix with the legendary? It's going to be tough when you've got everything against you, including the Emma ult. Here comes the Magneto. He goes up. Can Dogman get the connection? And he slams and misses on the back end. You're going to have to put everything towards it. Just inches to go here to get the point.
And off of the Eye of Agamotto, the follow-up right afterwards. Team Nemesis also had that Soul Resurgence that they used second, but now with the Karmic Revival, Vision trying to keep his team in, but they have nothing to reset, no support ults, and that is just a Karmic Revival wasted here from Shroud X.
Ladies and gentlemen, the impossible has been achieved. We have a 1-1 match. Vicky and I, we've had 2-0s. Not today. We've got ourselves Nemesis looking strong on their home court advantage map pick. They looked like they knew exactly what they were doing out there on Clintar.
It's happening, Cozy. Team Nemesis, they heard us, they heard our pleas and our wishes, and they're performing too. Love to highlight Team Nemesis and even making the adjustments that they needed, looking at how close it was for the first map, and then even looking at the stats here for the second map.
Yeah, absolutely. And even though Nemesis did such a good job on that map, I still felt like that was a very tight battle back and forth. Absolute sensational job. Looking at the stats across, I mean, there's so many people to highlight, but Crazy Man going crazy there with the 11.
It's 11 final hits, 34k damage block. It was the damage output too. Then you look side by side and like how you saw Star-Lord Amadian, the way he was able to perform, even still being enabled 21,000 damage. Let's not forget, he was the one dealing the most duelist output too. He had to at that point, even when it wasn't a mirror match on the other side.
Yeah, and again, Mello was just on point with those snipes from across the map there. And always having that, I'm telling you, at this point, he just made the res and ability because he had it up at any time the team needed it. Very flawless play across the board. Both teams, they won it. Both teams got a little beef. Let's gonna see who is going to progress in the upper bracket to face on Sentinels. We all find out just in a second here, but look at these highlights. I mean, just everybody playing flawlessly.
Guardians of the Galaxy would be so proud here. They're really just missing out on their buddy Rocket out here too. So looking at the way both these teams were able to play into that, mixing up their composition too at the very end. Impunity getting contested too with Krez, who was absolutely on fire. Vision, even with that res, there was nothing to help reset the rest of this team. It was unfortunate. And even with Team Nemesis losing out on Mello, it was about the damage output and then Ricky having that soul resurgence just to keep the rest of this team alive.
Absolutely. They just played as a complete unit. And with the skill level being so close, it really comes down to just the execution of team play between these two teams. You said it best. Guardians of the Galaxy on all sides. Drax and Gamora at this point, they're like, dude, when can I come in? Season 4, Season 5, please, I'm here. Let's get a full team comp going of the Guardians. But either way, great play from what we saw. Now, though, Shroud X, they get to pick the map. We knew Nemesis picked what they want. What can we expect from this next match here? What are you thinking? Are we going to get double res versus each other again? What will it be?
I don't know. I don't. It can't be convergence out here, and obviously, so I feel like in general, maybe we'll be able to see the res comp coming out again because I'm not expecting those bands to be much different after we saw the back-to-back. What was it? Invisible Woman, Loki, best band going in towards the Invisible Woman too. Yeah, the Invisible Woman. It was Loki, and I believe the Luna Snow in total. So we may have to see the force out res comp again.
Absolutely, guys. 1-1. Winner takes all this next one. Winner goes up. The loser goes down to the lower bracket. We're going to find out in just a second. Don't go anywhere. We're going to take a quick break. What's going on, guys? Welcome back. It is 1-1. Nemesis versus Shroud X. Can truly go either way. Both teams are playing lights out. Vicky, we just saw Nemesis get the win on Clintar against Shroud X. And you know what? We head into the new map Araco this time here to finish things off on Convoy. This is bound to be a good one. What do you think we're going to see out there? More triple res? Who knows?
Are we going to see an Atom ban? That's the question for me, right? Because the Atom Warlock is a problem, but both these teams looking obviously comfortable with the res comp. So wondering if that's going to still be on the table, or are we going to still get the triple strategist ban back to back with the Luna Snow, Invisible Woman, and the Loki?
Well, we're going to waste no time, guys. We're going to go into the last match of today. Who is going to move on and who is going to go to the lower bracket? Find out right now. We head into Araco Convoy. Pick bands are up. We've been seeing Emma and Magneto. Let's see if we see more of the same here. Gotta say too, the music on this is like Mega Man vibe.
So
I dig it, man. I dig it so much. It gives me like that I love it. I love it from head to
I literally had like the cat jam. Like when I first loaded into this map, I was jamming it. And then this is the map specifically I do want to highlight. I feel like personally for me, very good when you start on the defense. It's very great to hold the bridge side. There's a lot of cover initially when you see the team coming out of the spawn room gates. So you have to consider that too when it comes to some of these bands to play around a new map like Araco and around the bigger, taller areas that you could be out of the line of sight.
Not to mention, Emma on this map is crazy. You get the kickoff there at that first little point, that first corner. You've got that whole fall off that she can kick into. So we'll have to watch out for that. Doom maybe playing a little Wolverine potentially to counter that as well. Shroud X is going to be on defense first, and so they do have that bar to set, and we'll see who gets that. Now, they are going to be banning Luna up top there. Shroud X banning it for Nemesis. They've been sticking to the same bans. Everything's about the same from what we've seen so far.
Shroud X now are going to be able to save their Luna for themselves. So something that Nemesis cannot say for themselves here, saying that Luna Band on the other side?
I was just saying that I thought Doomed was going to play Wolverine because of how great he is on this map. And look at that. We've got the Wolf
wow.
Band. So Doomed shut down. They're unable to do so. And if we look at it, they also don't have the AMER. So very interesting. Last ban for Shroud. They go with the Atom. No more triple. Mellow, time to play something else.
This is what we're waiting for. Finally, we go the distance. The Atom Band and then perhaps the Human Torch from Shroud X.
Yeah, listen, Mellow played a mean Human Torch yesterday, and you can only ban so many, right? And they did not have Invisible Woman bans. You also have that team up ready to go if you choose to do that. Looks like we've got Dinks there on Cloak and Dagger Ricky to start with that, but probably going to Invisible. And you've got the Fly Comp. So we've got the Battle of the Flyers here, and this is bound to be a good one.
Oh, let's get this started here. Again, we are going on to our final map of the series here. It's gone the distance finally as Team Nemesis versus Shroud X settle it all here on Araco. Our final map being Convoy.
A lot of nice little places to move in and out of this map too. I enjoy for sure seeing Flyers manipulate the hallways to peek in, peek out, and try to get those key eliminations on that back line. And there's only so many places to go with that payload, right? So you're able to close things up easily with Torch, which both teams are definitely going to be rocking. This matchup's going to be rocking for sure.
Human Torch v Human Torch, saying which strategist we're going to be using in the back here as we get started out of the gates immediately by the hilltop that you and I were mentioning, and already taking a flanking angle looking at Kraz.
Yeah, absolutely. The gates are flying open, and here comes the Hulk. We saw him play yesterday, and he did great with the juggle and the pressure. Mellow, this is the comp that we had yesterday. Exact same against Dark Zero, so excited to see them push this together here. Both Flyers staying in tune with one another. Master Apprentice here is Mellow putting on the pressure early, and I like this kind of backside approach that they got going on.
I really like also taking advantage of these teleports that the map provides here, making sure that you could just wrap up around the defending team. Shroud X backing away, just trying to kite around the pressure that Mellow's already putting in.
Yeah, Mellow was a menace on Human Torch yesterday. We're seeing that right now. Look at, there's that Invisible Woman team up. That's why you want to ban it, but this time they got rid of the Atom. You can get rid of one demon, but the other is there without triple res. They've got that team up ready to go, and they're already making a nice job pushing right through this point, backing up Shroud X very easily.
They recognize Mellow's a problem right now, hand in hand with Ultron 2. Median now going to be able to also have the Ultron ultimate now as they try to exterminate the backline. Invisible Woman had already used that double jump too, and Doom now then flows in and follows up, finding 3 onto Team Nemesis.
Yeah, you've got a talent like Vision on Ultron. We've been seeing these insane players at his can easily going to Ultron and what he can bring with that virtually no fall off. Mellow just trying to escape, get back to his family. That is the Fantastic Four, at least half of them this time. And great job from Doom trying to slow down this team that's all gas.
And even better from Vision, utilizing that Ultron ult is what saved Nuke in the first place there, because Nuke would have been taken out by the Ultron that we saw from Team Nemesis.
Absolutely. Impunity now able to have that imprisonment, and you have that combined with the Supernova. We've seen that team up a lot today. It can burn through strategist ults quite easily, and we're going to see that here in just a moment.
Ooh, just trying to make sure you can get a stun real quick before leaping right on top of that flyer. Invisible boundary procced already though first, and Mellow had also tried to push in with that Supernova. Something that Team Nemesis has though, after utilizing that Cloak and Dagger ult, is still that Invisible Woman ult too, just to keep them grounded here as the Groot ult then comes in, the Supernova on top of it, and Mellow gets another KO.
Great job from Mellow, because Doom was raining down those fire tornadoes from up above, and he made sure that he put the pressure on him, causing him to run away. He followed him in the portal and secured the KO there. Absolutely huge. But Mellow now continuing the job, taking out Nuck, taking up and out, both stretches down, and it looks like this first point is looking their way.
They didn't have the reset with the strategist ult there too, but they still come in to contest, still trying to waste time away out of the Doctor Strange portal.
The last second portals we've seen from these two teams today has been pretty dang nuts. Scatter there getting a nice two-piece and really finishing off the job as they all make their way through the magic and out the gate. They're going to go ahead and secure this first point.
Now they're feeling themselves the way that they just cleared that, not only with the Sagar off that portal here too, but now finally wrapping around. And I also feel like this is the hard part of the second checkpoint here. Just going uphill, playing off that low to high ground is always scary too. When you have the high ground in any sort of shooter, you know that you already have the positional advantage.
Yeah, absolutely agree with that. This is definitely a trickier part of the map. And for the Flyers, they've got this little opening up here. They can go up top here, as you're seeing both of them do. This is going to be a battle in the air. Who can get those eliminations early so then they can continue to rain down on the back lines? That's what we're looking for. Melo trying to take this other entrance, though. There's so many paths you can take.
See, jumping in. Nice shield coming in as well. Team Nemesis controlling some space here, but Doom remains putting on the pressure, finding that first pick onto Skyder. The push into right here from the Invisible Woman. Shroud X just trying to isolate here before they try to wrap around on Team Nemesis, who are trying to kite away, but nowhere to run, nowhere to hide when you have the Strangling Prison up against the wall.
Pulls them up in the sky together. Impunity, are you kidding me? That was absolute cinema there. Love to see it. Vision still having their ult in the bank as well as Nuck. Love that both teams are looking stacked going into this next fight. So far, 2 minutes on the clock. I would say Shroud doing a pretty good job here on defense. We'll see if Nemesis can pull together here. They've got plenty in the arsenal.
Subtile Median with that Ultron ult too, right? Because they see currently that Fidel at nearly 82% and climbing will be able to have that fate of both worlds in that next engagement. Melo as well with that Supernova, seeing how they try to wrap around this corner.
Absolutely here. Melo breaking up the wall, trying to get that early pressure, pushing back Impunity, making sure those walls will completely get his team cut off here. We have the Extermination Vision activating and getting the heals and electing for that, but also, just keeping the team alive as Doom does the rest here, taking the backline down in Ricky, followed by Dinks. No more strategists. This fight looks like it's going to go to Shroud.
Ultron v Ultron 2, just to start off that previous fight, as Shroud just with whole Team Nemesis back to back, as Nemesis will at least be able to re-engage with 3 ultimates incoming.
Absolutely, guys. 1 minute, 20 seconds on the clock. These two teams have been razor thin. Both of them, they deserve to move on in the upper bracket, but sadly only one can. Vicky, that's how tournaments work. Vision now backing up, getting together with the team for a couple more team fights.
What I love about double Elim here, though, the stakes are still high as a Supernova is unleashed from Melo. Invisible boundary to keep Shroud X alive. Fidel still having that fate of both worlds. Also one of my favorite skins, by the way, with this Invisible Woman being able to hear the piano keys tick away as Vision then gets a Median once again.
Yeah, we've got Nuck with the clutch ult, keeping the team alive through Melo's ult. But hey, we have the Hulk who can do the juggle and completely isolate and disrupt. We'll see if he can pull it off. There it is, Monster Hulk coming out. The Gamma ready to go, but just getting melted down by Doom. My goodness, the Pyro out here going nuts. And then he trades with Melo. Right now, Shroud X is playing on all cylinders.
Oh, there's no worlds that he's breaking in. That Hulk ult forcing himself to back away. It is Doomed putting out all this damage output, forcing Team Nemesis to wrap around. May need to use a psionic seduction here as the invisible boundary just to try to counteract that with the Groot ult here from the other side.
Yeah, forcing it early because they have to. They have to counter that insane Groot ult. Just keep the team together. There's now 3 seconds, now 2. They have to touch the point. They're on it. We're into overtime, and Extermination is going to be the thing that potentially ends it. Both of them popping off at the same time. And Dogman, we've waited. We've got the purple ball. Take down Dinks the backline.
It finally hits the strike, though. We were waiting for this opportunity. You yeet it all the way in the backline as Doomed activates a Supernova in the crevice of the corridor. Still trying to isolate the Ultron hand in hand with Dogman being on that Magneto gear too. With only 4 available, you have Dinks now activating the portal just to recontest.
Vision is just completely in sync with Doom, taking out Ultron together, getting rid of the threat in the skies. Vision now finishing off, showing the multi-talented team of flexibility here as they continue to take one by one. Nemesis falling, only pushing about halfway through this map, not even through the second point, and that is going to do it. A sensational defense from Shroud X, and it does start in the air there with Ultron, Human Torch, Doomed, and Vision.
I'm saying going up that hill and you're dealing with fires on top of it, it is so difficult. A literal mountain to climb there too. But we saw some great counter ultimates coming in, especially from the strategist.
Yeah, Fidel Nuck, we're just on point there, just able to completely get rid of anything from Melo and what those tornadoes are going to do. I thought play was great from Nemesis. The Hulk play, honestly, Hulk can be a menace, but if you just focus him on a team and burn him down, not much the monster can do, right? And they did just that. Doom was throwing it in. It's crazy to me, Vicky. We've seen Doom play Doctor Strange, Bucky Barnes. He's playing a little Human Torch right now. The whole team is super flexible.
It's important. In a game like Marvel Rivals, look at the damage output. 14K left uncontested because they couldn't wrap around that one hallway. Even if they try to take that side corridor, it was just constantly being stopped. As you mentioned, the positioning that we currently saw from Nook and Fidel made it so difficult for any sort of interaction to be made, whether it be from Kraz being on that Hulk or even a focus just onto that backline, and it didn't work.
Insane stats for both teams. Both Melo Doom almost matched entirely in their DPS output here as we see Shroud X now on the offense. Can they do better? Can they advance? It's up to them. They had a good hold, but this is a tough map to push through here as we immediately are met with the Human Torch field to keep the damage up.
Fire everywhere. Curly burning down the competition with the way that they've been able to perform. Human Torches all day today in the Americas, saying something out here with Doomed already getting incredibly aggressive on the other side, but it's Nook being able to find Melo first.
That's a massive pick. I mean, Nook taking down Melo there is allowing this team now to completely push forward and get through this first little choke point. This is what we just saw with the Shroud X on the opposite side. Able to get through this, nothing to worry about here. Hulk trying to get a little bit of pressure and Doom putting it on them.
A little quick stun here, but it's going to be fine. You're hand in hand with the rest of your team here. Even looking on the other side, they look like chameleons. The way that they're controlling so much space at the same time, still putting on the same amount of pressure is insane.
They're in sync. They're in total in sync, and they're going for the exact same team, saying bye, bye, bye each time as Crazeman's out jumping up on the top, trying to get something rolling. Now, Hulk is great for the anti-fly, but we've yet to see the connection as Doom is going to get a little bit of heat there, and great play from the Gamma Shields, keep the team alive, getting that Gamma charge. Dogman trying to fight his own way through Melo, but Melo pumping out that damage, Vicky.
Kraz is incredible. Literally giving himself whiplash the way he whips around here on that Hulk. But I'm looking at a Median who's got that Ultron ult. It's Ultron v Ultron right now, keeping their team alive, but also putting in the pressure if you're specifically looking at Vision, forcing back the strategist to go in the back, and the invisible boundary here to save them.
Insane boundary there, insane timing from Nook, keeping the team alive because they almost lost Vision there and then they were able to keep it up. That's the second time we see both Ultrons throw up the ult at the same time. Supernova's going up. Dongmin, as we've seen, he's connected once. He's got both of them right there and able to finish off Ricky and Dinks. The strategist goes down.
Big here, now forcing Team Nemesis just to respect this space. It took a lot here from Team Nemesis, but Shroud X still holding on to that Gruul as well as Doomed in the Supernova.
Absolutely. I mean, this right now is Shroud X's game to win. We've seen this before as we have Doom now throwing down the Supernova's Nemesis, though. They've shown what they can do, especially with the Doctor Strange magic of the portal comebacks. We're seeing it right here. Nemesis 1-2, taking them down one by one, and they will look like they get the team wipe.
No way, Team Nemesis coming right back in off that portal too. Dinks makes his way together. The stagger is humongous now. You have a minute and now less than 35 seconds on the clock.
Hungman is just begging to find the pit. He's like, get me out of here. I've got to be eliminated. Now, Median, what was looking all like Shroud X, now there's only a minute and 20. And if we look at the ults, we've got the, we do have one ult for Ultron there. And Shroud X, they don't have a lot right now built up, but they do have the most important one, and that's going to be Infinity's group.
And Vision slowly reaching that Mark II with his own Ultron ult. Should match that. We know Ultron gets his ult rather quick, already nearly at 95% for this next engagement.
Absolutely. Now Melo trying to get that early pick. It would be massive with only a minute on the clock here. Everybody building up the ult. Unity has his ready to go. We start with Emma Frost. Neil Peasants, she shouts as she puts the pedal to the metal, pushed in there, and Median getting that first pick on Vision. That's huge. But in return, Dogman and Impunity swapping back and forth. Both Human Torches are out of the fight now, Vicky.
And even with the invisible boundary from Nook, Dogman gets sent out because he was out of the boundary itself. Now you have less than 30 seconds to get this moving here, and Shroud X have to come back. They have 3 ults at least on that next engagement.
Yeah, Melo's got that Supernova, but if you look on the side of Shroud X, they've got the Fate of Both Worlds, you've got Dogman about to get the purple meter, and then you've got Vision as well, who could pop the Extermination. So everything that they need is right here. What team wants to rise up? What team wants to move forward? We're about to find out.
See, gets a little tricky here. Where will the meteor go? But landed on nothing in the back. I don't know what that was here. Maybe a Hail Mary attempt to try to find the backline, but no backline in sight there instead. As Vision activates the Ultron ult too. Nice little stun on the other side. Impunity takes a good amount of damage here. They need a lot of healing as Team Nemesis have a lot more to work with, a lot more survivability with their own invisible boundary.
This has been the story. Can Shroud X overcome the adversity at the top? And it doesn't look like it as Nemesis gets one, now two down. Overtime's ticking. There's only so many moments left. This is to move forward into the upper bracket. One goes down, two. It is Nemesis taking down Shroud X.
Woo! The back-to-back off of Clintar into Araco, Team Nemesis. They keep themselves in that conversation, but I have to highlight Dogman with that Magneto ult could have really changed the course for Shroud X there too. But Team Nemesis playing like a unit and also cycling through those ultimates at the very end were so important to actually take control over that fight.
The absolute cinema from start to finish. Both teams, again, deserve to move on, played well, but unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on the team you're going for, Nemesis is the one moving forward. Very insane play. Look at this damage block, 52,000 from impunity. The stats are off the charts, but not to match. We have Mello, 25k on scatters. Emma, that's why you ban her. Insane play all around.
Wow, like Scatter, not only that, was combined together with Mellow, 25k damage to match that close to Scatter. It was a lot, as well as the fact that you currently saw triple support at the very end here too. Like just being able to cycle through that Invisiwoman, that Cloak and Dagger ult, as well as the Ultron really helped keep them alive and still continue on the pressure with the Ultron putting in a good amount of pressure from the skies, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, Shroud X, they were like, the point was done. And we saw that happen twice on both Domination. Definitely the question I'm going to be asking in the interview. You have to happen twice now on Domination and then right then and there. It doesn't matter how much of the point is left. You can test, you go in with the portal. That's why it's so strong. And they held.
Wonder here if that difference of that survivability just really helped Team Nemesis out at the very end. Even if they weren't able to get that tray over to that finish line here. Really good hold here as well from Shroud X, but man, it was just so hard to even get to that first checkpoint for them.
And it's so hard going from having a game, you know, you're down one game and then you get back-to-back wins. It's such a hard position to be in, and we just saw the execution, the play so well at the helms of all players, honestly. I thought Mello just going crazy there on Human Torch at the end, whether it was him or Adam. Just fantastic play all around. Nemesis truly showing that they've qualified into this tournament for a reason, and they want to make a statement.
But you know what that also means? That means that they will inevitably be facing off against Sentinels, and that's going to be a big feat to deal with here. Very different look compared to what we already saw in a very close series versus Shroud X.
Yeah, absolutely. Communication is razor tight on that team, and that's what they're going to be going up against here, guys. Absolute, that was without question my favorite match of the tournament thus far. So close, could have gone either way. Stakes were high. That's what Ignite brings to the table, and that's what I love to see. I mean, we can definitely highlight here that the Human Torch play has been one of the defining moments. In MRI, MRC, it was Hella who had the Hella that could get the picks that were needed. At this point, it's been about the Torch.
We have to talk about it. You know, when we talk to our interviewees as well, like we have to highlight, I said it before already in our last interview, but just highlighting how Human Torch, or just how he's been in general, we weren't really expecting it. Yet here comes Torch in the Americas, literally swinging throughout the entirety course of day number 3.
Absolutely here, and we have ourselves an insane player for Nemesis. Grassman is ready for an interview, and I know, man, that guy has got to be feeling ready to chat after that insane win. We'll be welcoming him here in just a moment to talk about what was, I'm sure, a heart-pumping... I can't even imagine the comms.
I want to know how scattered they were, because you know sometimes when you get very passionate, especially, you know, you're nervous, you're playing on the big stage here, lots of money in the line, you want to stay in that upper bracket for as long as possible because you don't want to go through a gauntlet run too. That's something else that's not discussed enough, where I feel like when you have to play at that loser side, you're playing more games, and that's very detrimental for the teams that may feel a bit of burnout the longer that they play. So that's something else. You're trying to make sure that you also stay fresh and still in that upper bracket.
Yeah, it's that sports, that esports mentality, right? Like, you just never give up. I know it could be corny, but you don't give up. You always have something to play for if there's time left on the clock, and they showed that. They showed that right there with the portals and the clutch plays. Dom, you know, wasn't able to get the win on that, but they were able to get that map contention that we saw, and then again right there on our map, Araco. Just insane play all the way around. Excited to welcome him in here in just a moment.
Yeah, I also want to dig into his brain, see how it was, you know, swapping over to the Hulk. We saw the Thing, of course, at one point. He loves playing the big boys out here too. But how that influenced playing together as a team and having the Emma Frost alongside you, right? Lots of back and forth that were available, even through Impunity, having that Groot, where you know those Groot walls could actually act as a double-edged sword when the opposition has the Emma Frost instead, because he could slam into your own Groot wall.
Well, let's welcome him in, guys. The one and only, I believe, Hulk player that we've really seen in this tournament. And man, I've got to start right away, and I've got to ask you, how many times was the word portal said in 2 seconds when you guys were going in now on one but 2 maps to get into that point?
All the time. I love the portals. It's so much fun. It just does. It has so many things that you can do with them.
Thank you for that match. I just got to stay. That was insane.
Honestly, that was my favorite match, by the way.
I think it was like a great time too.
You guys popped off. Like, that was literally one of my favorite maps that we've seen thus far within the region. All right. Nemesis, Kraz, you were popping off. I have to ask you, I was talking a little bit about it with Cozy. You cycling through Thing and Hulk, etc. What determines the different compositions you guys come out with? You guys were even trying to counter the res comp out here too, you know, trying to work around that. What influences the different types of compositions you guys decide to bring depending on the map?
Yeah, so first map, I played Thing because it's really good with the triple res, as well as we knew they were going to be on Wolf, and it's just Thing's so good into Wolf. So that's why I was Thing. And then the second map, I was on Groot just because Wolf wasn't open, and Groot was just good into that. But third map, I played Hulk because I love playing Hulk into those angle comps where people are taking angles, and there's flyers that you can tackle. I love Hulk, so I play him whenever I can.
I mean, insane, man. From start to finish, I've got to know, man, the mentality of this team. You know, previously, you guys with the slingshot, right? You guys love being down to come right back. And I want the viewers to know, right? Like, again, you guys were down 1, came back 2. We've seen it in the MRI. We've seen it here. What is the identity of this team? Calling in, you know, tell the viewers, I want to give you the floor, man. Like, who is Nemesis and what can they expect in this upper bracket now?
I think we're a sleeper top team that wants to win. We're going to give our best and hopefully qualify even further.
All right, I have my last question right now. Now you guys are presented to play up against Sentinels. Now, being in that upper bracket final must feel real good, but how ready do you feel to play against the Titans that Sentinels are?
I feel so ready. I'm not very nervous.
That's what I want to hear, man. Honestly, from start to finish, a match of what I think Ignite so far, just crazy close. You know, hats off both you guys and Shroud. I mean, how do you keep the team so calm as the last question here with just seconds on the clock or seconds in the overtime to get that portal through? Like, how does that team get conveyed to not get overstressed, not, you know, stay according to plan? Like, what are the comms like? I was saying it's like an Eminem on stage, probably just crazy. Like, tell you know, let us in.
So that's the funny part. I would say today, especially like that last minute, was not calm. It was all over the place. It was super messy. So we probably got to work on that a little bit more. But yeah, we were all over the place that last map.
Well, as it should be. It was for the upper bracket advancement. It was for everything on the line against Shroud X there, man.
Yeah.
So, hey, just want to say huge congrats to you, team. You got a big fan over here now, for sure. I can't wait to be watching you as you progress against Sentinels here and see that matchup. Good luck. Go celebrate, man. Enjoy the win and get ready for mid-next week.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you, buddy. Breath of fresh air, man.